So we got a lot of stuff that's going on in this world today, and we got a lot of stuff that's going on in the NBA. This is breaking news. This is another episode of Zam Sports, and I appreciate anybody, you know what I'm saying, who's going to be chiming in and is going to be watching this. This will be a different type of episode because of the simple fact that there has been a major agenda that has been pushed in the professional markets of basketball dealing with the NBA. And so it was announced on Monday that the Chicago Bulls have waived guard Jaden Ivey, and it was for conduct detrimental to the team. Now, this came soon after the former first round pick, by the way. I believe he was drafted at number 5 overall to the Detroit Pistons. He made anti-gay comments on Instagram Live, and we're going to show you guys some of the stuff that he actually talked about. And this move, as far as him actually being released, came literally less than 2 months after Chicago actually acquired Jaden Ivey from the Detroit Pistons. So in recent days, guys, the fourth-year player, he's only been in the league for 4 years. So when you're dealing with a rookie contract, you understand, we know that you are up after your rookie contract for either a max deal or for a bigger deal to get your actual royalties that can set you for life. And the reason why that they put a lot of these athletes, guys, on rookie deals up to around 4 years is due to the fact that they're trying to groom athletes to be on board with the agenda that those that run the league are trying to push. And we're going to keep it real here on Zam Sports, all right? And the reason why that they released him, right, and cut him was just due to the fact dealing with his religious beliefs. Now, I'm going to pinpoint on certain things that he said here in this episode because me, myself, I am what you would call a scholar when it comes to the actual Bible. I have a whole nother separate page that I've been running for about 7-8 years, right, where I deal with the actual Bible. Now, this is a brand new page dealing with Zam Sports because I've always had a passion to talk about sports. But now we're dealing with this situation to where you have every single major network and media outlet, right, whether it's ESPN, whether it's all these major new YouTube shows and YouTube pages, right, that have podcasts. Everybody is speaking about this, even former players, right, even current players. And everybody is pushing the agenda to go against Jaden Ivey just because he spoke against the LGBTQ 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 community. Let's just keep it real, right? So I'm going to go into a video dealing with this situation. But again, guys, realize that this guy was selected number 5 overall. I want to say it was in the 2022 draft. And he had been a starter for much of his first 2 seasons. Now he's been dealing with injuries, but in 218 games for the Detroit Pistons, Jaden Ivey, guys, averaged 14.8 points. That's pretty much 15 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, and also 4 assists. And he only played about 27 minutes per game. So we're talking about a guy who's very talented, who was definitely warranted to be selected in the first round in the top 5. Okay. And so with the change that Jalen Ivey has been going through, or Jaden Ivey that has been going through, he's told reporters that, hey, the old Jaden is dead. You understand? The old Jaden is dead because a lot of times you have a lot of young players that come into the league or and they don't understand that, I'm going to keep it real, right? That all professional sports have an agenda. They also have a script. They also have certain things. These guys are paid millions of dollars to make sure that they push a certain agenda and push a certain script. Do not get it twisted. All right. And how do I know this? Because I used to be in the music industry, guys. I'm a BET 106 in Park Wild Out Wednesday champion, which means I've had to go back and forth to New York several times for 106 in Park for R&B. From that situation, I was approached after winning right outside the CBS Broadcasting Center in Manhattan, New York. I was approached by an artist developing agent that happened to work for Diddy. This is dating all the way back in 2011. And when you have major labels and major organizations, they have what you will call I want to make sure I use the right words. They send out quote unquote agents to certain individuals who have talent, certain individuals who are on the up and coming, and they try to twist your mind to get you to get along with the get along. And depending on how you came up, it is literally a shocking, and literally you don't it's traumatic, y'all. The stuff that I experienced living my entire life since the age of 3 years old, working on my craft as an R&B singer, just to actually make it, sign an artist developing contract to be able to write songs for some of your guys' biggest artists. Then when it's time for me to be put into the pedestal, I'm thinking that it's going to be based off my talent, the same thing that Jaden Ivey was thinking. But no, it wasn't based off of his talent. It was based off of the agenda. And if you're not down with the agenda, they are going to exit you left, despite how talented you are. You also see this dealing with, you know what I'm saying, a lot of quote unquote celebrity deaths. A lot of these deaths are just due to the simple fact that those who are running things are just done and they have no more use with that said person because they have somebody else lined up, and it's time for people to pay up. Well, I want to salute Jaden Ivey because what I've been seeing, number one, I'm going to keep it 100. We're talking about a black man in America right here, right? We're talking about a black man in America that literally, you know what I'm saying, did everything that he needed to do to achieve his goal. And what is sad is that because of the agenda, guys, that we have placed amongst black people, in order to be successful, you have to go with the agenda, which is why that if you just type Jaden Ivey in any single platform, you're going to see a bunch of black people that are on these levels that are shitting on my guy, that are shitting on what he's standing for. And I'm going to talk about it here in Zam Sports because I'm really getting tired of this propaganda, fake media, puppets, those who see what's going on, but because they're getting paid, they want to shit on those who are not robots, those who are not going to be puppets. This is why, guys, as you see the title, there is a secret agenda of not just the NBA, but in all professional sports. You understand? Now, let's listen to what he had to say, what got this stuff kickstarted. Watch this.
That the world can proclaim LGBTQ, right? They proclaim Pride Month and the NBA. They proclaim it. They show it to the world. They say, come join us for Pride Month, to celebrate unrighteousness. They proclaim it. They proclaim it on the billboards. They proclaim it in the streets. Unrighteousness. So how is it that one can't speak righteousness? How is it one that how are they to say that you man, this man is crazy?
I'm not the Jay I used to be, but the OJ is dead.
I'm alive in Christ. You know,
And real quick, shout out to my wife, you know what I'm saying, who'll be holding it down, you know what I'm saying, so that I can actually be available to talk to you guys, you know what I'm saying, as far as what's going on. I love you, sweetheart. All praise to the Most High and Him alone.
no matter what the basketball setting is, you know, I'm born again, the Holy Spirit, um, and I've been saved by Jesus Christ. No matter what, how many DMPs I don't get to play, or no matter how many points I score, those things are a temporary thing.
He said it's a temporary thing. Now his belief is in the belief of Jesus Christ. So we're talking about Christianity. Now I'm very well studied in the Bible, and I'm still studying, still learning a lot more. And what I can tell you here on Zam Sports, right, is that there are contradictions with the entirety of the actual Bible, which is why you have a lot of sports analysts that are coming out speaking against Jaden Ivey for what he's standing for. You understand? And they're trying to use Bible verses, but they have no clue what the heck they're talking about, because this is not your profession. Leave the Bible talk to those who actually read. Leave the Bible talk to those who actually teach our people the Bible and have been doing it for years. And I'm not hyping myself up, but you know what I'm saying? This is the sports channel, but hey, this is what's coming up. So I'm going to speak on it. While all these other sports analysts, you know what I'm saying, who don't read the Bible, that are just quoting and going along, you know what I'm saying, with their narrative, using Bible verses to try to demonize this man, I'm going to show you guys what the Bible actually says. But before we actually get into that, know this, that a lot of individuals that live on earth still have a lot more studying than they have to do. Because again, I mentioned about contradictions. See, he mentioned that the NBA is against him because of his belief in Jesus Christ. Well, if Jaden Ivey is watching this, that is not the reason why that the NBA is against you. It has nothing to do with the belief of Jesus Christ, because they actually created him, especially from the Pisos family. And the New Testament is a whole man-made added book and not inspired from the words of the actual Almighty. This is just one of those, you know what I'm saying, little twists that we still have to learn, which is why that we have to read for ourselves. So this has nothing to do with the belief in Jesus Christ, when over 66 billion people believe in Jesus Christ. When Donald Trump says that we are going to send task force against those who speak out against Christianity. What are we talking about? Fine. So do not be distracted, guys. Do not be distracted. This is a distraction. You understand? And it's not done through Jaden Ivey. This is the things that the media are allowing to put out there. You understand? But it's on a deeper level. And I'm going to get into it. You understand? It's on a deeper level. And these are things that we have to realize, man. Right? So let's continue to push. I want to get into this. So now that you guys understand, he spoke out against Pride Month and unrighteousness. All right. Now let's listen to this. This is another Instagram.
The NBA was everything to me. I didn't know God. I didn't know Jesus when I came to the NBA. I was a fornicator. I was a pornography addict. And I used to get drunk. That's all I knew. And after a win, I felt good. After all those points, I felt good. I felt good. I felt like I had everything set out for me. Right? But as soon as that shut down for me, as soon as I didn't start, that's when God was humbling me. And he said he sat me down for a reason. The NBA was
So he stated that, you know, it was God that was the one that humbled him and set him down for a reason. He stated on things that he used to deal with and struggle with, which was dealing with pornography, which was dealing with being drunk, which was dealing with sleeping with a bunch of women and things of that nature. And we can find these things in the original Bible, which a lot of people don't know, but the original Bible is from Genesis to Malachi. It's just that simple. What they will call today the quote unquote Old Testament. You understand? In your modern day King James Bible, right? Something like this. You understand? Something and the likes of this. But see, guys, there are Bibles that came out way before. You understand? I'm not going to make this a whole biblical thing, but this is very important because I'm trying to pin my point. There are Bibles that came out way before the quote unquote King James Bible. And that's this right here, right? The Tanakh. And the Tanakh doesn't even have the New Testament. You understand? You got Bibles that came out like the 1611 King James Version Bible in 1611 that doesn't even consist of the letter J. What are we talking about? It just comes with more studying. So shout out to Jaden Ivey, and I hope that he takes this journey to continue to do more digging deep into his studies, into his spirituality, because he's going to end up finding out right now he's at a good path, right? But he's going to find out more the more he studies. But the fact that our people, and I got to say our people because he's my people, you understand, are subjugated to this type of slander, this type of mistreatment due to a religious belief that is granted in the United States of America is diabolical, showing you that this agenda has nothing to do with those who have a belief in the Bible. It has everything to do with those who go against the agenda that people who run these professional sports are doing and using, that actually go against the actual Bible, showing you guys, man, that we are living in a world of a matrix and a world of a lie. And I cannot make this stuff up. You understand? I cannot make this stuff up. Now, I want to look at this. You understand? And Jaden Ivey actually got a little bit more deep as far as the stuff that he's been seeing, as far as the agenda that they're pushing in the NBA. Remember, he's doing his studyings. He said that God did not make a man to be with a man. God did not make a girl to be with a girl. And if you don't like what I'm bringing out, you know what I'm saying, here at Zam Sports, and understand, dealing with this sports topic, I can give a damn. Kiss my ass. See you later. You understand? I'm a man's man over here, and I'm going to operate in how the creator that I believe in, who's in the Bible, in the Old Testament, created me to be. And that's to be with a woman. And we're dealing with a bunch of soft ass sissies, right, that are in the NBA, just like they're in the damn military. That's why the whole damn world is in shambles. Now let's listen to what Jaden Ivey had to say dealing with the situation.
God did not make a man to be with a man. How God did not make a girl to be with a girl.
You see that? And I got it right here. We're talking about the law. Yeah, I'm pulling the Bible up. Since they're pulling the Bible up in sports, I'm going to pull the Bible up. That's why they're not going to get real ones like me. They're not going to bring in real ones like Izzy. You understand? They're not going to bring in real ones, you know what I'm saying, who are sports fans, but actually study and know what's going on. You understand? So in Leviticus, this will be the Torah, the law, the official word of the creator. You understand? Where no other word is over the creator. He says right here in Leviticus 18:22, thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is what? An abomination. Shout out to Jason Whitlock, who a lot of people like to shit on, but Jason Whitlock actually, you know what I'm saying, spoke in this situation too and stated, right, that the agenda that the NBA is pushing with the LGBTQ 5, 6, 7, I don't give a damn, is an abomination according to the Bible. But yet, when we pull out our dollar bills, right, with the American faces of presidents on it, it says, in who we trust? In God we trust. Well, clearly you don't, because you don't even read the words of God. So, hey, I'm going to try to make sure I'm going to keep my emotions calm, but this is hot. I'm tired of seeing this agenda being pushed right in modern day sports. And talented players like Jaden Ivey, who has to now deal with trauma and find a whole nother way of living because he just wants to be what the creator created him to be. What are we talking about here, man? Let's just keep it 100 as it continues. It says, neither shalt thou shall thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. It is confusion. So, a man lying with a man, a woman lying with a woman as if it's a man, it is an abomination, and you are defiling yourself according to what's written in the Torah, what's written in the law, what's written in the real Bible. You understand? So let the biblical guys teach it how it really is. You understand? And y'all stick to sports and your little LGBTQ agenda that you're trying to push amongst men who have carried sports and the traditional sports for years. But now everything is turned to something different. And I got to keep it 100. Now let's hear what Mike Vrabel had to say, the coach, right, of the Patriots. He spoke out against his star running back, Travion Henderson, who currently plays for the New England Patriots, and supported Jaden by posting a Bible verse. Now, the Bible verse he posted, of course, is Matthew chapter 5, verse 10, which is dealing with the New Testament. But when you deal with the New Testament, there are a lot of verses that are in there that they have plagiarized and copied from what the Creator already spoke out of his mouth in the Torah and Tanakh, the Old Testament, right? So this is just showing you, right, was Travion Henderson the one to go out and make these videos? No, he just showed his support. So let's hear what he had to say. Hold on 1 second.
Comments.
Okay.
Here we go.
Travion quoted some Bible verses supporting.
For the purpose.
So how do you measure the line between conduct detrimental to the team, which is why the Bulls released the player in their view, and allowing a 23-year-old to, express his personal beliefs?
I think there is a fine line. I'm going to tell you, I love Travion. I love the person. He cares deeply about our team. He cares deeply about his faith. He cares deeply about his family, his wife, the people in our building. And so I want them to be able to express what they believe in their heart and in their mind, but also want to make sure that they're educated. And we want to be inclusive. Everything we want to do wants to provide an environment for people to, one, feel comfortable, but also to share their personal beliefs. And then also we represent the team and then we represent the organization.
So we represent the team and we represent the organization. At first, he goes and speaks sweet nothings to make it seem like that he's in support of his star running back, Travion Henderson, and him being in support of Jaden Ivey. But then he turns around and says that he still needs to be educated. Well, educated on what? What the hell it is that he needs to be educated on as far as what you're talking about when he was born a man? If you are born a man, you are already naturally educated to know that you're supposed to be with the woman. If you are born a man, you are already educationally, knowing that you are to work and work the ground and work the earth, right? And be the foundation, of what we have built up in this country. If you are a woman and born a woman, you should know that your role is major because you are the support system to help the men continue to build this country. But when you twist up, the natural order, then you bring confusion. Then you start getting things like what you call the WNBA. And I don't care if there's women basketball fans that are on here. It is what it is. There's a major agenda dealing with that too since 1996. Go look at the history of all WNBA players and their careers. You're probably only going to be able to name about 20 since 1996 that actually have kids and that have actually been married. Shout out to Asia Wilson, and I hope that her and Bam, Abadayu, who just scored 83 points, actually continue to elope and continue to be together because Asia Wilson is the best player in the WNBA, right? But she's also hated on as well because of her relationship with Bam because it goes against the agenda. So Mike Vrabel, let's be real. You understand? Are you with your star running back or are you not? Because the way he's looking, he's got this face right here, guys, looking like, damn, I got bosses. Well, a lot of us don't know that because we grew up thinking that this is an actual innocent game. We grew up actually thinking that we thought that we can actually, you know what I'm saying, get paid, right? And create generational wealth for our families to do something that we grew up playing in the backyard. But now y'all done turned it into something to push your agenda, the same agenda that you've been pushing on the entire world, which is wickedness. And so now you want to speak up against those because we got information now. We got internet now. People are reading now. People are seeing now. You understand? The gig is up. The gig is up. Now, y'all know I got to play Acho. Right? Acho, y'all know how I feel about Emmanuel Acho, guys. This guy right here. This guy makes the most terrible takes, you know what I'm saying, in sports history. I've said it here, you know what I'm saying, in previous episodes in Sam Sports. And I just so happened to click on this. I'm like, let me see. Maybe he's probably going to take the right approach. No, this guy is this is the type of media that are ran by this same agenda, that support this same agenda. They'll sit there and masquerade and act like, you know what I'm saying, that they manly. But if you're really manly, bro, you're going to call out BS when you see it, man. Instead, this guy is going to sit there and make a terrible take. Listen to this, man.
There is freedom of speech, but freedom of speech does not necessarily mean freedom of consequence. I also will remind everybody, starting from the sports perspective, your talent will make room for you. If Jaden Ivey was averaging 20 points and 10 assists right now, 20 points and 10 boards right now, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. But because in January of 2025, he broke his left fibula, and then in October of 2025, he had arthroscopic knee surgery. And then again, he's missed the last 2 weeks he had missed, starting in February 21st after getting traded from the Detroit Pistons to the Chicago Bulls. As a result, averaging 11 points and 3 assists, his talent is not making room for him. Plus, if you're in the training room, we do not necessarily want to hear from you. We want to just see you recovering. So from a sports perspective, starting there, athletes, you know your talent makes room for you. If the talent starts to diminish, we do not want to hear you more than we see you. That's number one. Number two.
And keep in mind, y'all, this is spoken from a guy who has a career NFL stats of, I think, 22 to 24 tackles. This guy did not last long, you know what I'm saying, in the NFL. He was trash. I may end up doing an episode because I do got some highlights of Emmanuel Acho when he was at Texas at the university, and so many damn missed tackles. This guy is trash. I'm just keeping it 100.
I don't like the path that Jaden Ivey is going down. And the reason I say this is this. Number one, Jaden Ivey's been through a lot. If you hear what he's talked about, he was sexually molested as a child. He had a porn addiction while he was married. He's self-admitted that he was abusive towards his wife and his children. These are all Jaden Ivey's words, not my own. And so Jaden Ivey is also acknowledging like he's a struggling individual, or an individual that has struggled. So let me acknowledge that, acknowledge the emotional and the interpersonal aspects as well. Anybody that's been to therapy understands things that happened to you as a child, they impact you as an adult. Now let me talk about the biblical aspect of it.
And this is the problem. Now let me talk about the biblical aspect of it. This is really what Acho wanted to talk about. He didn't care about anything that he stated before as far as talking about his struggles, talking about how, you know what I'm saying, the things that he came up, you know what I'm saying, having to deal with at a younger age, right? He just kind of skimmed over that. But now he's going to go to the biblical aspect of it. And watch what he says, man.
Because Jaden Ivey also has to understand that not everything that's legal is going to be biblical. Render to Caesar what is Caesar's. Also have to understand you have to be wise, discerning, and tactful as to how you speak and when you speak and who you speak to.
Now, let me stop that right there. Okay. And this is just exposing what I said earlier and how there is a contradiction between the New Testament and the Old Testament. Because in the New Testament, Jesus Christ actually says, render to Caesar's what is Caesar's and render to God what is God. Well, what does the actual creator? Has the creator actually said that in the Old Testament, in the Torah, and the Tanakh? No, he says, have no other gods, serve no other gods but me. That's what he says. He doesn't say, oh, you know what I'm saying, serve me, you know, but do what this nation says, you know what I'm saying, or these people say that don't even follow me, because you just so happen to be living around them. No. All right. No. This is crazy work. So what Acho is basically saying here, right, is to give in to the agenda, because what is Caesar's is the NBA. The NBA is controlled by your modern day Caesars. So if you're a part of the NBA, you have to give in to what they're paying you to be a part of that organization. Well, you're talking about, well, if you're using a New Testament verse and you're substantiating it with that, which I have no problem with you doing that. It just goes to show the blasphemy, right, of that damn New Testament. I'm keeping it 100. It just goes to show that. Why should Jaden Ivey, and he's pushing for righteousness, and we just read in the Old Testament what righteousness is, but then when we go to the New Testament, right, watch this. When we go to the New Testament, let's go to Matthew, right? I believe it's chapter, 5, right? Let's go to Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. Think not that I've come to destroy the law. Well, what's the law? That's what's written in the first 5 books of the Bible, the Torah, which we just read earlier in Leviticus, that said that a man shall not lie with a man as if it's a woman, and a woman shall not lie with a woman as if it's a man. He said, I didn't come to destroy that, but to fulfill. But yet, when you read in the New Testament, Jesus Christ says that give to whatever Caesar's and Caesar's, and give to whatever God is God. Well, let's unpack this here. If that's the advice that we're supposed to take, and we're living in a country where they are pushing LGBT 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 community that goes against the creator and what is actually written, then we have a problem. We have a problem. And these guys right here are sent as puppets to do the master's work. You understand? Which is why that they are puppet masters.
Jaden Ivey, if you want to quote Paul in Corinthians, Paul wrote what he wrote to the church in Corinth. He didn't necessarily write what he wrote to the church in Ephesus or the church in Galatia. In the same manner, Jaden Ivey, you got to use discernment of when you speak and who you're speaking to. If your job and your goal is to emulate Jesus, also understand when Jesus saw the woman who had committed adultery, he said, go and sin no more. He didn't then try to extrapolate every single sin and every single man she has slept with adulterously. So I will just start by saying, 1, understand there's a difference between legal and biblical. 2, Jaden Ivey, make sure you tend.
And that was a dumb take to try to use. He's trying to tell Jaden Ivey in comparisons to Jesus Christ telling that woman to go and sin no more. Well, Jaden Ivey is calling out what's clearly against the creator, what has clearly messed up this entire country. Let's just keep it real. There's no more family foundation. There's no more man and woman, right? It's Adam and Steve now. You understand? It's not Adam and Eve. It's Adam and Steve. It's Frank and Frank. You understand? It's Amber and Amber. It's not, everything is out of course. Everything is out of order. So to sit there and try to use that, it's just diabolical. It's just diabolical. No, he's calling out the wickedness of professional sports as far as how they're forcing these players, because they're getting paid money, to push these narratives that goes against the natural realms of the making of a man. What are we talking about? And you can't see that, but you biblical though, huh, Acho? You biblical though. Nah, stick to your fake takes, just like that fake damn YouTube channel, Speak Easy, that you did not start, you know what I'm saying, from the ground up, which used to be, you know what I'm saying, owned, right, by Fox. You didn't start that from the ground up. That's already been proven. Yours, 2-something million subscribers don't even match the views that you get on every single upload because of the simple fact that you are a phony. And watch how you speak on my people, because I know exactly what tribe you come from out of Africa. And y'all people didn't sit there and did the same thing and took along with the narrative, you know what I'm saying, just for gunpowder to sell us on all 4 corners of the earth. Now we turning against wickedness now, man. We just want to play ball, bro. We're not trying to do all that extra stuff. We just want to play ball and take care of our families. I got a son, you understand, who's going to end up going to college. I got a son that's seeing this stuff, you know what I'm saying? And now he's even talking about, I don't even know if I want to go to the NBA. I just want to go play overseas because my son understands this stuff, man. What are we talking about? Man, what are we talking about? So shout out to Jaden Ivey, man. I got to keep it real. You understand? And he's not, understand this agenda has been going on for quite some time, guys, right? This agenda has been going on for quite some time. And it's happened with Jason Collins. A lot of y'all may not even know who Jason Collins is, but he was literally the first NBA player to literally come out and publicly announce that community. And he made that announcement in April of 2013. And he did it in a Sports Illustrated article, which Sports Illustrated at that time is the biggest magazine, right, in information that you could get for sports. So he became the first active male in one of the 4 major North American professional sports leagues to come out publicly while still playing. All right. So when you look at how long he played, this guy played for 13 seasons, man. He had a long NBA career. You understand? So because he came out, because he had this type of lifestyle within him, and this agenda was already a part of the NBA, they allowed him to play for 13 seasons. We don't know what type of effect that had on players, that had on certain individuals as he played in the NBA for 13 years. Because again, guys, it's about their agenda. We got to keep it real. You understand? And that agenda, right, has now translated to modern day players like what we see with the #1 team and hottest team in the NBA, former NBA champions, OKC Thunder. You understand? And I want y'all to look at this. This is Jared McCain, right? Former Duke player. I truly believe, you know what I'm saying, that he is one of the most up and coming NBA guards in his league. He's technically actually in his rookie season because he was injured all of last year dealing with his rookie season. Well, this guy likes to push a lot of what I call, you know what I'm saying, gay. Right? I mean, look at this guy, man. Right? We can see your draws under your shorts. Gay. You understand? Painted nails. Gay. Look, come here. What are we doing? What is this? It looks like he's dancing to California Girls is undeniable. Daisy Dukes bikinis on top. Ooh. Damn Katy Perry. This is what it came down to. These are the new stars now, guys. You know what I'm saying? In the NBA. I agree with you, Auntie. Saucy as hell. Right? I agree with you. We got to keep it 100 here. Right? And this is because of the agenda that they've been pushing for quite some time. You right? My wife says, right, selling your soul for riches and fame is so sad. Stand for something or fall for anything. Shout out to Jaden Ivey for not falling for anything and staying true. Right? You understand? And staying true. Hey, that's a good comment. Because while everybody is getting up on them, no, we're going to defend them here in Zam Sports. You understand? We're going to defend them here in Zam Sports because I stand for righteousness. You understand? And we can stand for righteousness, man, and still be able to chase, you know what I'm saying, our endeavors. But you got to do it in righteousness. And sometimes things are going to be revealed. So we'll see what Jaden Ivey is going to do. And I believe that. Zesty at its finest. Zestino. You understand? Zestino. And that's what they pushing here, y'all. Right? It gets worse. You understand? It says he's better at painting his nails and making videos than playing basketball. Well, that's not true. But I mean, look at this. This is when Jalen Williams ended up being interviewed after a game. I want y'all to hear what Jalen Williams got to say, who also got a lot of videos of himself, Jalen Williams, this guy right here, being very zestfully clean. Zestfully clean. Y'all remember that soap commercial?
Yeah, no, it felt good. Like I said, we have a really good team. Hey. Like I said, yo, get your hand off my back. Just put it higher up though. Like there you go. Yeah.
Put it.
Yeah, no, it felt good. Like I said, we have a really good team.
Listen again.
Like I said, yo, get your hand off my back. Just put it higher up though. Like there you go. Yeah. Yeah, no, it felt good. Like I said, we have a really good team.
Whoa, homie. In the words of Coach JB, bro. Whoa, homie. What is we doing? So you didn't like that his hand was Wherever it was at, get your hand off my back. I guess it was on the lower back. You know where females like to get that, what we call thought tattoo, right? Right in the lower and the middle back. Y'all know, y'all know what I'm talking about. Then he took his hand off completely, but I guess that wasn't good enough for Jalen Williams. He said, but you could put your hand up on my back a little bit higher, though. What? That's what he said. I didn't say it. That's what he said. This is on national television with microphones. This is the agenda that's being pushed here, y'all. This is the agenda that's being pushed here, y'all. You understand? If he starts twerking, it's over, right? Exactly. Oh yeah. Well, there's videos of that too. Just out of order, unnatural. And because of this, the league is becoming unnatural. This is probably not going to be a popular Zam Sports episode. I'm going to keep it 100. But I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of seeing this. I got to keep it real, right? If you're a female, you understand, and you like to get active, you understand, as far as sports-wise, well, there are sports for you. It's called ice skating. There are sports for you that you can do. It's called bowling. There are sports for you that you can actually do. You can ski, right? Those are things that you can do. Well, why do we got to play basketball? Because what we've seen as far as what's translated is nothing but, you know what I'm saying? Gay. Fine. Well, why do we got to? I ain't got no problem with softball. I ain't got no problem with that. But why now you got women's flag football? Fine. What are we doing? What are we doing? All right. What are we doing? Everything's out of order. Now we're bringing feminism in the NBA. Fine. What are we doing? These guys are touching each other's lower backs, and he says, take your hand off my lower back, but hey, put it up here, though. Fine. So y'all see what's going on, man, right? Even in boxing. Shout out to Clarissa Shields. I ain't gonna lie, I'm a fan of Clarissa Shields, but she coming out talking about, I want to fight Keith Thurman. Fine. Professional male boxer saying that I will beat his ass. Fine. I can't stop. Bro, this is crazy. There is an agenda, guys, that has been pushed in professional sports amongst men. And our men who are speaking out against it, like Jaden Ivey, shout out to Jaden Ivey, you understand, are being demonized, and he's lost his NBA career due to this situation. You understand? So we got to put this on high alert. Understand that when we're watching sports too, guys, that everything that you're watching is not real. All right? Yeah, it's entertaining. They make it entertaining, guys, but there is a deeper agenda that's actually under all this as far as what we've been seeing over the past, literally, I want to say 10 years. There's other people that's been saying that this agenda has been pushed over the last 5 years, but to keep it real, guys, this agenda has been pushed for the last 10 years. I can go back to a commercial done by the NBA, right, where it had the likes of Kobe Bryant, had the likes of Dwayne Wade, had the likes of LeBron James, had the likes, you know what I'm saying, of the stars in the earlier 2010 era. Remember, guys, I remember growing up as a man, growing up as a kid, playing in the parks, playing on the blacktop, in the streets, basketball courts, right? And certain individuals will call a weak-ass foul. He done went up for a layup and barely got tapped, and then he called a foul. He's screaming, and this a foul. That's a foul, cuz. It's a foul. And then we just respond and be like, man, that's gay as hell, bro. Well, there was a famous commercial that was put out way before 5 years ago to where we really start to see the push of this agenda that was put out with these stars that showed the same type of scenario. And a teammate said, oh, he got a technical foul from the ref. And he told the ref, oh, that's gay. Then next thing you know, Kobe Bryant's popping up on the scene saying, no, don't say that. That is not cool. Then you got Dwayne Wade popping up on the scene and saying, no, we should not say that. That is harmful and disrespectful to people. Then you got all LeBron James coming. I mean, what are we talking about? The agenda was pushed back then, and the guys, they use these major guys. And the only reason why that they're major is because they are going with the agenda. You understand? Clarissa uses her anger and rage to box. She needs lots of healing. Krishan Blueface X might box Clarissa in the future. Hey, that's real though. That's real. That is real. Shout out to my auntie. Shout out to my internet aunties, Earth Healing Angel, you know what I'm saying? And also, you know what I'm saying, Avia Barak, right? Kay Peterson says their teammates, and shout out to Kay Peterson. Shout out to you, sweetheart. Their teammates know more than us, and they are quick to air it out. Just open your ears and listen. You understand? Just open your ears and listen. Guys, this stuff is being exposed, okay? And I'm speaking from actual experience, y'all. I'm not speaking from just I'm just not speaking from what I've heard. I've experienced this, guys, in the music industry. I had to literally, I understand what Jaden Ivey's going through right now. Because when you look at this, y'all, right? I mean, just look at his face. This is trauma, right? Listen to this. This is trauma. Listen.
Was everything to me. I didn't know God. I didn't know Jesus when I came to the NBA. I was a fornicator. I was a pornography addict. And I used to get drunk. That's all I knew. And after a win, I felt good. After all those points, I felt good.
And see, he's revealing a lot of the stuff that he went through. This is trauma. Listen.
Blame LGBTQ. Right? They proclaim Pride Month and the NBA. They proclaim it. They show it to the world. They say, come join us for Pride Month, to celebrate unrighteousness.
To celebrate unrighteousness. And so when you actually make the league, especially if you are drafted in the first round, it's like what the Bible says, right? Which all these sports analysts are trying to bring up the Bible like these niggas read. Excuse my language, but they don't read shit. They ain't never studied enough. They ain't studied nothing. But like the Bible says that to whom is given, much is required. But the sad thing is that a lot of our people are given these opportunities to be able to showcase their talent at the highest level, but they don't know what's actually required for them to actually showcase that. Then you have certain individuals, because all of them come in not knowing that. Then once they come in and this stuff is revealed, that's when the realness of that person actually shows. Are they going to deny and stand up for righteousness, or are they going to take the bag? You understand? Trust me, I know. You understand? I know NBA players that I've played against in high school that's been drafted number 2 overall. Right? I'm not going to say his name, but if you're from Kitsap County, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That had the talent of LeBron and more. Yes, lasted 16 years in the NBA, but was drafted number 2 overall, broke Michael Jordan's freshman record, you know what I'm saying, at North Carolina in the NCAA tournament, but was not pushed as a star because I know his family, I know his background, and I know what they stand for, and best believe it was exposed to him too. He just wasn't. And again, I'm not going to say his name, but y'all, anybody, you know what I'm saying, who's from the Pacific Northwest knows exactly who I'm talking about. You understand? And the root of evil is money. Yes, we do see that in the New Testament. But what it says is that the love, key word, the love of money is the root of evil. And love, according to the scriptures, is keeping the Creator's commandments. So you show that you truly love the Creator when you keep his commandments. Some people place their love towards certain things. You understand? So I stand with Jaden Ivey, and I think that we need a lot more people. I want y'all, you know what I'm saying? Hey, when you're on your social medias, right? Just send a post. Hashtag I stand with Jaden Ivey. You understand? Hashtag I stand with Jaden Ivey. Because you got a lot of negative media that's coming against this young man who's only 20, bro. This young man is only about to be 25 years old, bro. And he just watched his whole career, you know what I'm saying, get thrown away just for the simple fact that he had no clue what he was getting himself involved in as far as dealing with the wickedness of professional sports, man. But I stand with Jaden Ivey. Real talk. I stand with Jaden Ivey. And I appreciate y'all for being up on here, man. Right? Again, this is a touchy subject, but sometimes we're going to touch on touchy subjects here at Zam Sports. I'm your host, Zam. Make sure you guys hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you haven't already. And put this in the algorithms, you know what I'm saying, because this support needs to be brought out, you know what I'm saying. And I'm praying for Jaden Ivey because he needs the support right now as he's going through some mental situations. And his mental situations that he's going through, guys, is based off trauma. It has nothing to do with him being crazy because he ain't crazy. He's just not afraid to expose some things. He's just not afraid to be a man, like a lot of thousands and thousands of those who's in the league, you know what I'm saying, that are afraid to be. You understand? So with that being said, I'm gonna catch you guys for another episode. Zam, and I'm out.